Okay, but there is an attempt here of like having something above the rest, right? So they announced the fighting game World Championship powered by Evo. And at first glance, you might think that, okay, this might be like the culmination of like an Evo tour or something of that nature. But then when you start to read into it, this shit is silly to me. I think it's so... this reads like such an old... My interpretation is this was written by like a guy who is 45 years old at his youngest and used to play Street Fighter 2 and the old Capcom era.
It's funny you said that, because I said I think that part was written by a 40, 50-year-old person who used to watch in 2000s and 2010s, watching Justin Wong and Trashy get multiple top 8s and want to reminisce about that and remember that. And they like, that doesn't happen anymore. That just doesn't.
Yes. So the goal of this tournament, they said, is to uncover who is truly the grandmaster of fighting games. Unlike existing world championships, this new format will require competitors to showcase their mastery of multiple fighting games, putting their adaptability, game knowledge, and fighting game fundamentals to the ultimate test. Only by demonstrating next-level skills across the entire fighting game genre can a player rise to claim the latest championship. And you might initially be thinking, like, okay, this is going to be like the latest games, the best players, Tekken, Street Fighter, City of the Wolves, whatever the current titles is. No, hold on, there's more. We'll be working closely with our publisher partners to determine which titles will be included in this format, and we will have more information for you later this year. Additionally, we will be working with the community closely to help identify what modern-day titles and legacy masterpieces should represent the breadth of fighting games in this new tournament, with a focus on competitive, not entertainment selections. And they say that this will be held in either Evo, either in United States or Japan as like the founding countries for Evo. And all I had to think was, what the fuck are you talking about, man? This sounds like such dumb corporate suit boomer shit to me. Like, this sounds so out of touch to me. I cannot... What are they talking about? This is such a gimmick.
I thought it's just for... It can't be for fun, because people are obviously going to Evo to, train and play the hardest. But I do think, and my initial impression was, if there's a new fighting game by a publisher coming out, get all the people to play the newer fighting games, and then it's kind of like a promotion strategy. If, I don't know, say Tokon's coming out, and CVS3 is coming out, and whatever other fighting game's coming out, and you got Sonic Fox playing Goichi in all three of them. That's kind of entertaining. I don't know what's gonna happen. Those are three purely new fighting games that I know nothing about. I do think it can be entertaining. Will it be? This sounds kind of, I don't know what they're talking about. But I do think for a newer fighting game, I think it could be cool, but I don't think it will be right.
When Goichi and Xiaohai throw down in SNK, City of the Wolves, and in Street Fighter 6, it's hype because it's organic.
Yeah,
as organic as it can be, right? They're doing it for the money because SNK has the initial strategy was Saudi owns SNK, 97% ownership at SNK. Let's make City of the Wolves an old franchise that no one remembers and make it a dog shit product, and it sells terribly and doesn't have an active player base, except for at the top level, because we put $1.5 million as first place for this tour, and massive amount, $2.5 million total, I think, for the finals, and a bunch of money throughout the tour. So incentivize the top level players to play this and make the SNK World Championships. And that has worked. There's players like Goichi who's picking up the game. You see Nemo, Koji Cog traveling around. They were just at Frosty Faustings, for example. It's worked. And it's kind of cool to see Goichi and Xiaohai, butt heads at the EWC, EVOs, and the SWCs. Like, it's kind of cool to see that across multiple titles. And they're competing at the highest level in both games simultaneously. That is kind of cool because, the monetary incentive is why it happened, but they chose to do it on their own. And there's completely independent tournaments with dedicated players in them as well to get through. So that contrast is really interesting. It's like, wow, they're actually able to keep up with solo game mains and play at the highest level in both games. Like, that is crazy. Doing it this way, this reeks of, hey, we tried spending millions of dollars on the tour and no one is still playing. We still don't have enough players for City of the Wolves. Let's force these dudes to play are SNK games. This reeks to me of insecurity of the SNK products, and you're gonna Arslan Ash. Listen, you're doing great at Tekken, but if you want the big bucks, you're gonna be required to also on the side play some City of the Wolves or whatever the new SNK game is coming out. It feels bizarre to me. It feels bizarre.
I don't think people will pick up an entirely new fighting game just for that, but I do think if you're already invested, but like, I get what you're saying. There's not a lot of cross-pollination. Like, the only Street Fighter players I think that play other games are what Xiaohai, Goichi, Nemo, but they're cross-pollinating into City of the Wolves, and the only other one I can only imagine, like, I think a lot of Strive players play 2XKO as well, but there's not really that much cross-pollination now. I can't even name a single Street Fighter player that plays Tekken as well at a high level.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole point. The whole point is to stop people from solely playing Street Fighter 6, because Street Fighter 6 has become the career fighting game because it's the most stable esports platform, especially out of Japan, and people are actually having careers out of that. The whole point is to, once again, keep incentivizing people to stop playing Street Fighter 6 to play other games. And in a way to, like, force them, like, you're not a true grandmaster of fighting games until you play all these other games. And it's like, is that cool for people? Like, I'd rather see people specialize. I'd rather watch Evo and see the best of each individual title all in one day, rather than someone who's like kind of good at different games. I don't know. I don't really vibe with that.
I don't think it only has to be SF6 though, because like I said, I like watching people who are good at, the only other games, like I said, Strive, 2XKO, and maybe a Grand Blue. If somebody's good at all three of those games, I think that would be kind of sick and exciting to watch. But that player who plays, all three of those games at a high level is probably only like one or two people in the world, actually.
Right. So what I'm saying is you're not going to get the best of the best. The whole point of Evo is to get the best of the best of the best. There's going to be people who have weak links in all these games. And it's sick when Xiaohai and Goichi do it, because they're literally fighting the best of the best. There's no like, oh, I'm in this tournament and I have these games really good and this is my worst game and you beat me there, my worst game, to claim the crown of fighting game grandmaster. Like, it doesn't really vibe with me. It's sick when you go to a new game and in the singles tournament you beat everybody and there's no Johns, there's no downplaying the achievement. I beat all of you at your main game. That's sick.
Brian, there's been plenty of people who you've beaten in I know Street Fighter, and they get up and tell you, yo, bro, that's not even my main game. I know that's happened to you a million times.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what they say. If you win Evo at that, yeah, sure. If I win a freaking local, who cares? I'm talking about at the high. This is Evo, man. This is not some shitty local. You're not going to be in grand final. If anyone has any option in grand finals of Evo to go, this is not even my main game, that's a bad tournament. That's a bad side. There should be zero chance that there's even a hint of that mentality. In this Evo game, Fighting Game World Championships, every one of these tournaments could be like that. Any one of the times they have to play a different game, you're lucky it's not even my main game. Like, this reminds me of these exhibitions they do before fighting games come out, where they have all the different random you get like a Sonic Fox, you get a Arslan, you get a Punk, you make them all play the fighting game as like the pre-release exhibition, and they do these little tournaments. That's what this feels like to me. It's like a big publishing stunt, and those pre-release events are not that sick. They're not that hype, I gotta say.
They actually did one recently in New York for City of the Wolves, and I thought it was pretty sick. You got like free food, you got to play. Mena was there, I was there, Lord Knight was there, but I thought it was pretty sick.
Because you got wined and dined. Yeah, no shit. If you get to play video games and eat for free, that's sick. But I'm saying from the tournament, if you're at home watching.
Yeah, I agree. You do want to see the highest of the highest level play. That's what I feel like a lot of people are tuning into Evo for. So you're right there. You don't want to see like, I play this game not as much as this game, and then I'm bad at this game as well. So
right, I
get you. But for like the 0.0001% of the Goichis and Xiaohais, I think it's cool, but there's not many players I could put in that stature to play in that event.
You'd have to get Justin Wong to unretire. And just think about it from a practical level. There's 2 points here. One, the political part of this, which is they want to pick from legacy masterpieces, which are with a focus on competitive, not entertainment value. What a loaded statement that is. What does that mean? Who is deciding this? What this is? This is like, to me, the perfect vehicle for someone to fuel their bias of like, yeah, Third Strike is the greatest. All other games are bullshit. If you might have won 18 million Evos, Arslan Ash, but if you can't beat Justin Wong in Third Strike right now, you're trash. And it's like, dude, come on. Like, I this feels to me so much like an old head trying to live out their fantasies, or like justifying why, like, this was the golden era. This was the hardest era of competition with this old game that modern fighting game players don't play anymore. It feels just kind of corny to me, just conceptually.
It's all gonna be it's just gonna be Art of Fighting 3 Grand Finals, and if you don't know how to play Art of Fighting 3, then you're just kind of like screwed. But,
Right.
Yeah, it's yeah. I you could get 8 players to play though. But to me, I also feel like that's an invitational event. I feel like
It has to be invitational, right?
Yeah, it has to be invitational.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, what is even the practical structure of this? Like, this cannot be an open bracket tournament. It cannot. How are you going to run that? Like, what is actually this going to look like? It has to be invitational.
Yeah, I mean, I also think like doing that is trying to, I put this down. I think doing that is trying to segue the FGC into more invitationals, because all the other esports do it, and you know, when they do EWC, it's invitational. I think they're maybe trying to get rid of more open bracket tournaments, because maybe they see it as like a hassle to run, or like unconventional. Maybe they actually prefer more invitational fighting game events just for them to kind of grow, maybe.
Right. But wait, EWC's qualifier, is there...
It's an invitation. Like, you have to qualify to get invited.
Yeah.
I still count that as an invitational. Capcom Cup's an invitational. I can't go to Capcom Cup and be like, hey, I'm here, put me in bracket.
It's not open bracket, but I think there's a big distinction between an invitational where you're literally invited and an invitational that has open bracket qualifiers. I don't know. I think that's an important distinction to make, but I get what you're saying. Because Esports World Cup, you can be nobody and qualify, right? Like, you don't have to. Same with Capcom Cup, which I think is great about those. I really like those types of invitationals where it's like open bracket, funnels people up. Like, I think that's really sick. And I think invitationals that are like literally curated a set of players for an entertainment product, those can be sick too, but it's a very different vibe. And I feel like this is I'm going to curate a hand selected set of fighting game players to put on a show. This feels more like a play to me than a tournament. They're putting on a show. Like, hey, let me, or like, it's like they're playing their action figures. Oh, what if Justin Wong fought with Goichi? And it just feels a little weird to me. I don't know. I'm not vibing with it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will be the most sick shit ever. But I have to imagine it's an invitational with a round robin score. There's going to be lame duck matches. I mean, just think about how the tournament's going to play out. When does someone win the tournament? During which game? It's going to have to be a math equation of crunching the numbers and weighing it across different games. And I'm hating. Maybe let me know if I'm hating in the comments. If you think this is sick, let me know. I don't see it. I would love to see it. Hopefully you enjoyed that trash talk or extra trashy clip. If you want to see the full episode that clip came from, go ahead and click the link right over here. Otherwise, YouTube thinks you might enjoy this video right here. And for the trashiest amongst you, we get the merch right over there.
Yeah, that's right.